Hey guys, this is Rollout with RolloutReviews doing another casual DX Kamen Rider Ghost unboxing. This time it is the DX Grimm, Sanzo, and Himiko Eyecon set. And finally, this is about it for the 15 Eyecons we were promised at the start of the series. You get number 10, number 14, and number 15. So the last standard Eyecon for Ghost, and 2 upgrades for Necrom. Really excited. I was about equally as excited to get this as I was to get the Mega Ulord itself. You also get 3 Gambarizing cards, as we're used to getting with these Eyecon sets, and I really love those too, so that's pretty cool as well. Anyway, you got Necrom and his 2 alternate forms up there. Then you have Ghost with Himiko up there. All of these Eyecons can function both in the Mega Ulord and the Ghost driver. However, of course, Himiko only says Ghost, whereas Grimm and Sanzo actually have their own proper phrases in the Mega Ulord because they are specifically Necrom's form so far. Now, as I have the packaging here and have pictures of these forms, I do want to go over who these historical figures are. So starting over here, Himiko is the only girl soul of the group, of the 15. I suppose they had to have at least one, and of course, she is pink, but let's not get into that. She was the shaman queen of some early country before the unification of Japan. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty much the extent of my knowledge of her. Again, she was a shaman queen. She could sort of allegedly see visions of the future and things of that nature. She kind of had a magical vibe to her, so this form has kind of a magical vibe to it as well. I believe the face is some cherry blossoms, so I guess that could be an explanation for why it's pink. Then, of course, you have Sanzo, number 15. Sanzo is the main character, basically, of the classic tale Journey to the West, which is, I thought it was like a Chinese folk tale, but apparently it has some roots in Japan as well. Basically traveling from Asia to India, this guy went and met all these mythical creatures along the way, but that character in that folklore story is based off an actual Buddhist monk of some kind who did live, and I suppose this is based off of him, although I believe the form takes a lot of inspiration from that story itself. It has like a kappa, the mythical creature, a kappa, which is kind of like a frog dragon thing, as I understand, on his back, and then it has a pig on one shoulder and a monkey on the other shoulder, and a pig demon and the king of the monkeys were 2 characters that Sanzo met on his journey to the West. But that story does differ among different cultures, and I believe Sanzo himself has a different name in other tellings of the story. I think the Chinese version, he's like Zhan Yu or something. So yeah, kind of an interesting one there. And then Grimm, who is a very interesting icon because it's technically 2 people. The Grimm brothers, the Brothers Grimm, writers of very famous folk tales, Little Red Riding Hood, things of that nature. So yeah, but it's weird that it's both of them. It's the soul of the 2 Grimm brothers in a single Eyecon. And that's interesting. I don't know why it's sort of similar in a lot of ways to the other Eyecons if it's got 2 souls in it. You would think that having 2 souls in it would kind of alter its functionality in some way, but apparently not. But yeah, there you go. Those are the 3 characters, the 3 historic people. Let's open this up. I'll show off what the Eyecons look like physically, then I'll cut, show them off in the Ghost Driver, and then I'll cut and show them off in the Mega Ulord. So, here we go. No, it took me a while to get through all of that, to ramble through all of that. Longtime viewers of mine should expect that at this point. But I do like to get my facts straight. I do like to, talk about the reasoning behind a lot of the decisions that go on in these toys, rather than just saying, hey, look, it's a cool thing, I don't know anything about it. So, yeah, there you go. That's just how I like doing things. So, here you have the Eyecons. They're just sort of in there. I was expecting something to slide out, but nope, they're just kind of in there in their own little bags here. There's actually a little bit of space there, a little bit of empty space for some reason. I guess so it looks nice on the shelf? I don't know. Or maybe to make room for something? I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of unnecessary space in there. But anyway, this actually does slide out, but I was expecting a tray. That's what I meant, like, by that, I suppose. But yeah, here are the instructions. Here are the cards. All three of the Eyecons and the cards are in tearable bags, rather than these kind of things we're used to seeing with the open end. So yeah, kind of similar to, like, candy or something. That's the first impression I got when looking at this bag. Like this. Yeah, I don't know. It's like they got the perforated edges. You can tear them open. I don't like that as much, but whatever. I suppose it had to have been done this way for some reason, and I'm just gonna open them anyway, and I don't really plan on keeping the package, so we don't really need the instructions because we're used to these Eyecons at this point. I mean, come on, we've got 15 now. Let's just rip them open. I'll pan the camera down, and we will take a look at them. And get the cards out as well. That's kind of like opening a booster pack, almost. So, here you go. Here you have them. Let me run around and reposition things. Straighten things out, run back around, and I'll line up the Eyecons themselves. So here you go. Here are the Eyecons. Let's get the little bit of plastic off the front here, which on Himiko here is sticking much more than they usually do. On all of them, actually. The adhesive on whatever this little paper is seems a lot tighter. But anyway, there you go. There are those Eyecons. So first, let's take a look at the Gambarizing cards. Of course, this one, you have Himiko. On this side, you have Tokon Boost using the Sunglass Slasher. So that is pretty cool. Like I said, Himiko kind of uses magic. And I think it's really cool because that makes the three specifically boost undersuit forms archetypes in a way. Ryoma is kind of a ranged fighter using the gun form of the Sunglass Slasher. And then Goemon is kind of a melee fighter using the sword form of the Sunglass Slasher. And then Himiko, while she does use the sword, she mostly uses magic. So she's kind of the mage of the team. So we have range, melee, and magic. And I think that's kind of cool. So there is that. And then here are Necrom's cards. You got two different Necrom base form cards here, which I assume do different things in the game. And then, of course, I can have all three riders finally represented with the cards here. So that is very, very cool. And then, on the back of this one, you have Grimm Damashi, who has, like, pens on his shoulders that come out, and he uses those to fight, little like calligraphy pens, because, well, they're writers. He also has like an open book on his jacket, and his faceplate is a little like an open book as well. Something I forgot to mention is the fact that Necrom's forms work a little bit differently than Ghost or Spectre's. Instead of the entire faceplate changing, it changes the color of the visor, and then kind of the frame around the scuba mask, for a lack of a better term. So yeah, there is Grimm. And then on the back of this one, you have Sanzo, with again a monkey I believe, on that shoulder, a pig on the other, and then that thing on his back is supposed to be the kappa, I believe. So there are the cards. Those are pretty cool. I tend to enjoy those a lot. I don't know how many more of these we'll get in the future, but I am very satisfied with that hearty stack of them, having collected the entire toy line so far. So let's take a look at Himiko first, because she is number 10. As I said, cherry blossoms, I believe, is what the eyes are supposed to be. They're very vague, so that's just what I'm guessing they are. Educated observation, I suppose, given the color and the theming. But yeah, I guess they could just be random shapes, but that's the only thing I can think of that they are. And then magical holding hands power, I guess, is her her attack there. I don't know. She's got like bracelets. There's like bracelets there, and holding hands and magic. I don't know. Friendship! Something like that. And then the gray iris for Ghost. And then number 10. So there is that. And then there's Grimm, who is very sparkly. Both of the Necrom icons are very sparkly for some reason. I didn't think they were like this in the show. They were definitely translucent for several shots. Some of the props were translucent, but it is kind of weird to me that they are very, very sparkly in hand, and in pictures, of course, here. But that's not necessarily how it is in the show. And again, it seems like the candy toys or the gashapons are more accurate, very similar to how Robin Hood, the DX version says Robin on the top, whereas it says Robin Hood in the show, and both the candy toy and gashapon versions are more accurate. It seems like the candy toy and gashapons are the most accurate, once again, in this case, being just translucent without having the glitter in them. But it is kind of a cool effect. I personally like it. It's just, again, not accurate to the props on the show. But it makes sense, I suppose, given the eye drop theme. They're sparkly because they're clear, I guess. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, Grimm on the top there, number 14. And the faceplates for the Necrom icons are a little bit more boring, I guess, just because, like, you can't really see the influence as well as on all of the Ghost and Spectre icons, because it looks pretty much the same, and just the frame of it changes. Like I said, it's supposed to look like an open book. You can sort of see that if you try really hard. But then you have the attack, which is kind of a calligraphy pin. And then you have a green iris, because this is for Necrom, not for Ghost or Spectre. So yeah, I really like that. That's a good color. And then it is number 14. Sanzo, like I said, very similar looking face. However, you can see the frame is sort of the shape of a sun, I suppose. Something like that. Then you have the little ring on his back that he uses as a weapon, which I assume is supposed to represent the kappa, as I've said before. Then the green iris, and it is finally number 15. So, let's cut, and I'll put all of these in the Ghost driver and see what special sounds they provide. Without further ado, starting with Himiko. So kind of similar to Goemon, I think, in the mystical sounding, very kind of Japanese music there, the Japanese jingle. The jingle itself says, if I can find it here, Advance Notice of the Future, Yamatai Koku, which Yamatai, I think, is the country that she was the shaman queen of, and Koku means like country, I suppose. It means like district or country or something like that. So Yamatai Koku. Of course, advanced notice of the future. She could see visions of the future, apparently. So that's what that is about. I really, really like that. Here is the attack. I mean, it's not difficult to please me. I like pretty much all of the ghost jingles so far. So, again, I'm easy to please. But here is the attack. So yes, the holding hands friendship attack, I suppose. I don't know what that's supposed to be. It could just be like some kind of magic thing. I don't know, putting your hands together to summon something. I don't know. But anyway, there is that. Let's move swiftly along. Again, not showing off the Omedama sound because it's basically exactly the same. Here is Grimm. Number 14. So even though all of the other Eyecons, aside from Grimm and Sanzo, don't actually have any special sounds in the Mega Ulord, they do have unique sounds in the Ghost Driver. So maybe Ghost will use these forms sometime in the future. Who knows? Oh, that is really cool. I love the sound effects in the background. I also love the way it says Grimm. That's very cool. Grimm, if you will. So, I'm pretty sure I know what this one says, but let me find it just to make sure. This one says... Oh, don't do this to me. I just had it. All right. The heart's door opens to fairy tales. So yes, the Brothers Grimm wrote many fairy tales, and you can hear the sound of an door opening at the front, and then it like unleashes magical sounds, I suppose. So I really, really like that. Heart's door opens to fairy tales. So then... You, of course, have the calligraphy pen attack there, or maybe it isn't calligraphy, but just a fancy writing pen of some kind. I do wish that the Grimm form kind of incorporated the Brothers Grimm fairy tales into its design a little bit more. It's mostly just based on the pens and the opening book kind of thing, and less about things like Robin Hood or not Robin Hood, what am I thinking? Little Red Riding Hood, that's what I was thinking of, and, the Hansel and Gretel and Cinderella. I think all those are Brothers Grimm, but I could be wrong. Anyway, let's move on to Sanzo. 15. Last one. Both of these, I do notice, have the ghost sound. All three of these, in fact. Despite these last two being Necroms. That is awesome! I get much more, like, Chinese vibes from that jingle, so maybe my assumptions were right when I thought that Journey to the West was more of a Chinese folklore than Japanese. But yeah, really cool. I love that sound a lot. This says, if I can find it once again, I just had it, and now I'm having to search through all of these names. I'm on a news Tumblr site that I've used as a resource for a lot of these videos, and I'm having to scroll to find the certain form. Anyway, Sanzo says, Monkey Pig Kappa, breakthrough to India. So, really like that, and for fun, let's do the attack. Sanzo! And that is it. So, with that out of the way, let's move on and show all three of them in the Mega Ulord. So for ease of demonstration, I have removed the straps from the Mega Ulord, and I find it's just easier to display it that way. Also, in the show, he sort of just takes this, plops it on his arm, and the straps form around his wrist. Wouldn't that be convenient? But unfortunately, it isn't quite so easy in reality. Now, I'm going to show off the Himiko icon in here, but of course don't expect it to do anything outside of the standard ghost jingle. I also find putting normal icons in the Mega Ulord is a little bit finicky for some reason. Sometimes when I put an icon in, press the button, it just doesn't read that there's anything in there, and it doesn't work, and I don't know why, but I think it just has to be put in there with enough force to press some kind of trigger in the mechanism, or else it just doesn't read that there's something in there. I don't know, I can't quite put my finger on what the problem is, but well, it read it then, so I'm not going to complain. And it just makes the ghost sound. See, I just pressed the button and nothing happened, and I don't know why. Also, in my tests, I noticed that icons that aren't Grimm, Sanzo, or Necrom don't actually have special attacks in this thing. I thought they did. I could have swore they did, but apparently they don't. I might have been mistaken and said that they did in my Necrom video and just didn't realize that it wasn't an extra sound, it wasn't an attack sound, it was just the transformation sound twice. I don't know. Normal icons work very strangely in this thing. Fortunately, I think these will work a bit better because they have that extra button pushing potential with this extra little tab there on the side. Unlike the Necrom icon, there's only one rather than two there. It's very difficult to see, but that is what works the magic. So, yes, sir. You actually get a confirmation. Much more satisfying that way, unlike these sort of icons. Fortunately, you don't get loading, but you do get that. Again, sometimes just pressing that button does nothing. It's weird. It's weird. It's a little bit finicky, but Grimm has some great jingles, both in this and in the driver. Very magical, very mystical. I love that. Grimm. Now the phrase, like the Necrom icon, is in English, like Crash Invader for the Necrom icon. This time it says Fighting Pen. A little bit easier to hear. Now because it does have that extra little push pin and presses an extra button, it actually does have a special attack, so there we go. Now, I don't think it's anything unique. I think it's just the same attack as Necrom and Sanzo, but the fact that it actually does that is nice because, as I established, these normal icons, these normie icons, just don't do that sort of thing, which is sort of weird. Maybe it would be easier, and maybe it wouldn't be as finicky if I actually wore this on my left arm and press it with my thumb here, like you should. Maybe because that's the intended way of doing it, it's easier to activate the sounds that way, and it's not quite as hit or miss. But I am finding that sometimes this thing just doesn't make some of the sounds it should when it should. Little unfortunate. But anyway, here is Sanzo.
Yes, sir.
You just kind of have to forcefully press that button.
Tengan, Sanzo, Mega Ulord.
I like that. Again, kind of Chinese themed to me in some ways, and it says Sayu Road, technically in English, although Sayu is very Japanese sounding, you might find. That's because Journey to the West, that story, is called Sayu in Japan, as far as I know. So road is definitely in English, but Sayu is what they call that story in Japan, as far as I know. So that's why it says Sayu Road. Very cool. Really, really like those sounds. But yeah, that's all they do. Oh! Almost forgot the attack.
Dai Tengan, Sanzo, Omega Ulord.
Again, I don't think it's any different. Could be wrong, but I don't think so. But anyway, there you go. That's it. That is all 15 icons that we've demoed. Now, for the last little segment of this video, I did finally want to show all 15 of them together. Not too long ago, I picked up some acrylic steps to display some pieces in my collection, specifically my Kamen Rider SH Figuarts and these icons. These are really, really cool and really, really help the look of your display a lot, just making everything on the shelf a whole lot more visible. I can't recommend getting something like this enough. I'll put a link in the description to the eBay seller that I got this from. They aren't very cheap, but I think they are definitely worth it. With that said, let's show off all of the icons on these very nice looking clear acrylic steps. So, number 1, Musashi. Number 2, Edison. Number 3, Robin Hood. Number 4, Newton. Number 5, Billy the Kid. Number 6, Beethoven. Number 7, Benkei. Number 8, Goemon. Number 9, Ryoma. Number 10, Himiko. And those are all of Ghost's icons with the gray iris. And then for the last tier here, you have number 11, Tutankhamun. Number 12, Nobunaga. Number 13, Houdini. And those are all of Spectre's icons. You'll notice how all of the Ghost, Spectre, and then finally Necrom icons are all in order in the numbering scheme, which is interesting. Then you have number 14, of course, Grimm. And finally, 15, Sanzo. And there you go. All 15 of the great icons. The heroic icons, the influential icons, whatever you want to call them, there they are, finally all together, and now I can make a wish. wish made. Not gonna tell you what it was, because then, of course, it won't come true. Don't you know how wishes work? Anyway, that is about it, guys, and this is IX Roll It IX, signing off.